Unlike the Federal Republic of the United States, Colombia is a republic with a unitary state, Spanish as a national language, mixed races, and a strong influence from colonial culture of Spain. The modern educational system in America has been generally shaped by reports, Supreme Court cases, and legislative acts. In Colombia, all public and private educational systems are shaped by the national constitution, laws, and national policies. Teachers in America have specific requirements and characteristics depending on the state, district, and school. Initially, the teachers' salaries vary among districts in the country. The U.S. average public school teacher salary was $57,420. Student teachers must obtain a teaching certification that varies from state to state. Unlike the U.S. teachers, in Colombia they do not need to be certified, and the salaries are determined by decrees, such as Decree 2277 of 1979 and the Decree of 1278 of 2002. The average American teacher's salary is about 5 times higher than the Colombian teacher's salary. Additionally, Colombian teachers, like American teachers, have a variety of qualifications. Contrary to the American system, teachers can still get a qualification in a normal school to become a preschool or primary school teacher. Additionally, teachers attend universities to obtain a bachelor, specialization, mastery, and doctorate. Alternative to a university degree, teachers also can become a professional technician or technologist teacher. The federal organization in the USA and the unitary system in Colombia makes the governance or organization of the two nations immensely dissimilar. The educational system of the United States is decentralized as a result of a federal constitution that grants authority to each state and local authorities to determine how education is shaped in each state. Additionally, the U.S. federal government gives support to the states throughout the U.S. Department of Education in the implementation of federal policies. In contrast, the governance or organization in education in Colombia is very different. Colombia has a Ministry of Education that sets the standards. Then the Secretaries of Education take the Ministry of Education's framework to provide guidance and support for the educational communities. Students in the U.S. educational system start with early childhood education from newborn to 5 years of age. Many children start their education in childcare or daycare, licensed in certain minimum health, safety, and sometimes pragmatic standards. This service is not required or free, but parents with busy schedules have made this service very common. Unlike America, Colombia does not have a regulatory framework for daycares, making it a very informal business. Additionally, preschool level covers pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, and transition for children from 3 to 5 years old. Then the U.S. elementary education is composed of 6 years where students enter formal education at the age of 5. Teachers in primary education usually teach all the basic subjects in the same classroom. By contrast, Colombian basic education is divided in 2 cycles, primary education and lower secondary education. The primary education cycle includes the grades from 1 through 5 for students from ages 6 to 11 years. Students in the United States continue their learning in secondary education in their 7th year. The United States start educating students in secondary education either in middle school, junior high school, or high school. After primary school, the second and last obligatory cycle of basic education in Colombia is lower secondary education for grades 6 to 9. Unlike United States system, Colombia does not provide junior high school or middle school. Instead, Colombian students receive instruction from different teachers, but in the same classroom and group of students. The last stage of secondary education in the United States is high school, where students can choose from different types of high school, comprehensive and traditional, and electives. Contrasting, upper secondary education in Colombia includes the non-obligatory 10th and 11th grades known as baccalaureate. The General Law of Education in 1994 divided the baccalaureate in 2 types: academic orientation and technical orientation. At the end of any baccalaureate, all Colombian students must have to take the ICFES exam to graduate and gain access to higher education. The United States public education funding is a very contentious topic in the whole country. In general terms, the federal, state, and local government fund America's public education, but the local government is the one who provides the most financial support. In contrast, the Colombian public education system funding differs from the American system. The central government of Colombia obtains the funding for education, then the funding resources are given to the secretaries of education to administrate and distribute the finances of education as established by General Law of Education in 1994. In America, the concept of choice has become popular as a result of the creation of public charter schools. This type of school follows some of the same regulations, but does not have to follow all the state and local provisions like public schools. America also provides another educational option for parents and students throughout homeschooling and private schools. Private education is an option for parents who can pay the tuition fee. Private schools do not depend upon federal or local funding. Instead, they usually receive funding from tuition and other resources. Usually, the curriculum in private schools has more advanced electives and academic programs for students. Private schools also differ from public schools in size, management strategies, goals, staff work environment, and teachers' teaching freedom. In Colombia, the educational system does not provide charter schools or homeschool, but it supplies exceptional type of schools or programs. Private schools have become the main alternative to public education in the country. Like America, private schools in Colombia do not receive funding from the government, but instead obtains the economical resources from tuition fees, pensions, and periodic collections. Still, like in the US, the possibilities of access to private schools also depend on the family income, but in Colombia, private education is even more closely related to a higher socioeconomic status. Also, similar to the American private schools, the curriculum in Colombia provides more possibilities for students. Now, regarding special education, in the United States, 3 main laws shape the education provided to exceptional learners. The Individual with Disabilities Education Act of 2004 specifically frames the special educational system in the United States. In Colombia, the perspective of special education has been shaped mainly by the political constitution of Colombia. Additionally, the general laws have contributed to the special education. Yet Colombia does not have a specific law like IDEA that centers on the framework of special education in the country. In the United States, post-secondary education is provided in different types of institutions, 4-year universities and colleges. Generally, students need to take SAT or ACT as entrance admissions examinations, but usually this is only one of the requirements, which vary between institutions. In Colombia, there are 4 different types of post-secondary education: universities, university institutes, technological institutions, and technical training institutes. Colombian universities offer undergraduate programs that last 5 years instead of 4. Moreover, universities also offer postgraduate education from specialization master's to doctorate. Admissions to university undergraduate programs always require taking the state exam ICFES, similar to the SAT. But like in an American system, universities can have other admission requirements. Private and public university tuition fees are paid at the beginning of every semester. Colombian students do not have the same possibilities to apply for financial aid. In Colombia, ICETEX is in charge of granting student loans mainly to population with low economic resources and one with academic merit. Additionally, the tuition fees in private universities are on average 20 times higher than in public universities. As a result, admission to public university is very competitive. In America, an alternative to 4-year education is 2-year colleges known as community colleges, technical colleges, or junior college. This type of education awards associate degrees in vocational fields. In Colombia, technological institutions and technical training institutes have similar features with community colleges, technical colleges, or junior college in America. Technological institutions administers higher education and vocational programs, and the objective is to provide students with functional skills. Secondly, technical training institutes offer a similar approach to education, but the programs are more advanced and slightly longer. Finally, the Colombian University Institutes or Technological Institutes. These 2 types of institutions offer mainly undergraduate and technological programs with a solid foundation in academic knowledge and research.